inviting our Arena Plus table to please go behind Gilas Pilipinas.
We had a really good camp.
And
I was really
table
impressed
at the
by
back.
the way the guys came. Kevin and Carl came late because of their games in Korea. And of course, we didn't have AJ for the whole camp. But that was why it was so important that Troy and Juan and Jamie be there, because they gave us a full complement of players in which to practice with. And those three guys were amazing. Well, Troy is always amazing. I mean, I see him every day and never practices. He never takes a moment off. He plays incredibly hard all the time, which really elevates everybody around him. So he pushed a lot of our guys that probably wouldn't normally be pushed as hard because he plays so hard. Jamie came in incredibly motivated. I remember walking into practice one time, and I was really early because I was planning to do an exercise walk for an hour before everybody came. And he'd already been there for 30 minutes, stretching, working, getting himself ready. And so, you know, he was early on time, I mean, early to do the work. He worked really, really hard. It was a really tough decision because he practiced really well. And then, well, Juan's a future Gilas player. I mean, he'll be on the team at some point. It just happened to be like this time. He's still new to this system. But what we did with him is that we laid a foundation for Juan in terms of him learning the system this time and then being able to go with it next time. But, you know, he's going to be a fixture on this team. And, you know, instead of saying, you know, we're sorry to Juan, it was like, congratulations, Juan. You proved your worth. You're going to be on this team. There's no doubt about it. He is really a stud. And there was no reason for us not to bring him this time except for the fact that we wanted to be loyal with the guys we had. And RJ had a great camp also. The two of them both played extremely well. But RJ knows the system a little bit more, and he was with us last window in terms of the whole practice venue. So he was a little bit ahead in terms of knowledge. So we picked RJ. But again, Juan's going to be a part of this team very soon. Part of the 12, I should say. Excuse me.
But you're still going to practice tomorrow?
No, we're actually not going to. You know, we had it scheduled, but we've been killing these guys. You know, we've been practicing every day since we've been together. We did 2-a-days on Friday, 2-a-days on Saturday, 2-a-days on yesterday. Did a hard scrimmage yesterday, a full game type scrimmage, which is hard because each team only had 7 players. So play a 40-minute game with only 7 side was really hard. So we've really been pushing them, and we had another hard practice today. So we really felt like, okay, you know, if we get to the games, they'll know what to do, but they won't have the legs to do it. You know, they'll be tired and they'll be worn out. So we're trying to find the balance. And so tomorrow we're giving them the day off to recover. And then we'll see them in the flight, around midnight. And we'll arrive in the morning, and then we'll practice in Guam. We'll have 2 practices and a shoot around in Guam before we play on Friday. So, yeah, I would prefer to practice, but I just know that, you know, you can kind of get a sense when guys are getting tired and worn out. And like I said earlier in the talk, we took a little different approach this time. We really pushed much harder than we normally have done in the previous windows. Kind of wanted to have a more aggressive style, and so we're going to play with a more aggressive style. That means guys got to be ready to get up and down the floor. So we did a lot of that in practice, and that's very wearing, especially for the big guys like Japeth and Jumar You know, those guys, it's a big, heavy toll on them when you're making them go run up and down, up and down, up and down. But no complaints. You know, these guys don't complain. Now, that's one thing I was talking to somebody. We just never have a problem with people being on time with this team, or people showing up to practice, or going hard, you know, asking out, or finding an excuse. There's just absolutely none of that with this national team. Everybody's so excited to be on the team. They're like perfect character players, all of them. It's amazing to be around them.
Coach, talking about aggressiveness and the team, could you talk about adding Truth and Victor together? How does he help the front court, especially that the team past performances they have lacked in terms of rebounding?
Well, yeah, I think that's one of the main things. He's a tremendous rebounder. He's a tremendous weak side rebounder or off ball rebounder, where he's going to play off the ball from Junmar, and he's going to be able to clean up all the weak side rebounds. He just plays with that kind of effort, and he has a nose for the ball, and he's big. I mean, he's big and he's athletic, and he can surprise you with some of the things he does. But the great thing about him is he really plays within himself with great intelligence, and he's not out there trying to do stuff he can't do. And so it's not only that great ability, but the great intelligence that's going to lend itself to this basketball team. And so really impressed how fast he picked up the triangle, and all the concepts that we were trying to teach offensively and defensively. So he's going to be a great help. Maybe you won't see it as much in this window because he's still new, but this is something that he's going to develop over time, and but we expect him to play major minutes in this window, but still I think that, you know, he's like 24, 25 years old. Give him 2 or 3 years, imagine how good he can be. I mean, that's the sense we have with all of these guys. Kai's 24. I think he just turned 24. We got Kevin, who's still 25 or 24. Carl's 24. I mean, we still got some really young guys that have not even approached their prime yet. And you usually don't approach your prime as a basketball player until you're about 29 or 30. So these guys are still, imagine how good they can be if they stick together and play together over a set of years, not just a set of windows, but a set of years. Imagine how good this team can be. It kind of reminds me of the old Iran team, if you remember, with Haddadi and that whole group that stayed together for like 7, 8, 9 years, and they just completely, they just started dominating Asia after a while, and they were going to all the big tournaments around the world because they were qualifying everything. And it was because that team started young and just stuck together, and that's kind of the foreseeable future we're looking at this team. It's not just for now. Yes, we want to win now. Yes, we want to be really good now. Yes, we want to make the Olympics in 28. But just think how good this team can be as they mature and get older. I mean, even Juan has just turned 26 yesterday. Dwight's 26. He hasn't reached his prime yet. So a lot of potential yet. And potential's you got to be careful with potential. It's a dangerous word. But that kind of oozes out of this team right now. Possibilities are there.
Is there any concern about Guam other than Jericho?
Oh yeah, they got Wesley, who's a 6'7", 6'8" post guy, who is an amazing. I haven't seen footwork like his since John Chambers. I mean, he has tremendous footwork at the post. Every team he played in the Asia Cup, he gave problems to. He can take anybody one-on-one at the post. So, he's a huge threat. You got Galloway, who's a 6'10", jumping bean. He jumps out of the gym. He's super athletic. And then you got Simon, who's a lights-out three-point shooter. They're not going to be a deep team where they're going to play all 12 guys, unlike us, where we have depth 1 through 12. But the difference is it's only a 40-minute game. So depth is not as crucial in that 40-minute game as it is to a 48-minute game. You can get away with playing rotating 7 guys and keeping 7 guys fresh. That's what they did during the Asia Cup. They basically went maybe 8 deep, and but they had Wesley and Ross, who I understand may not be playing. He's the leading scorer in the Asian Cup, but they had a core of 4 players that were playing 36, 37 minutes of the game. And they're a tempo team. They slow the game down. They really play inside to out. So and also when you're playing at home, it's a whole different ball game when you're playing at home. Players play differently in front of their home crowd, in their home court. It's a completely different thing, and that's what we're going to have to overcome. You look at the way we played New Zealand at home, and how well we played New Zealand at home, and how hard it was for us to beat New Zealand at their home. Home court means something, and that's why this Friday game is really crucial to us. We've got to come with our best foot forward. We can't take anything for granted with them being at home in front of their home crowd.
Coach Tim, how crucial will be this window in your?
If we don't win this window, then we don't make the World Cup.
How crucial to get that?
If we don't make the World Cup, we can't make the Olympics. So if we don't win these 2 games, all of our goals are dashed. So that's how crucial these 2 games are. This is what we're working backwards. All right, our number 1 goal: win the Olympics. All right, to get to the Olympics, we have to get to the World Cup. All right, to get to the World Cup, we have to have a record that's at least 3rd place, so we can advance into the second round. And so after the second round, we have to be one of the top 7 teams in all of Asia to make it to the World Cup. Qatar's in, they're number 8, so we have to get to the top 7. And you look at some of the teams out there, you can count maybe 9 teams that any of them could make the World Cup. So you're talking about Lebanon, you're talking about Jordan in the Middle East, China, Japan, Korea, New Zealand, Australia, and not even talking about Chinese Taipei, who had beaten us, and Saudi Arabia, who gave us such a hard time in the Asia Cup. But there are like 9 teams, including us, that are going for those 7 spots. So if we don't get a good record and it's carryover, then we can't get to that top 7, which brings us back to this round. And if we can't get Guam, and then we have to play New Zealand, Australia, we then can't get to that 3rd spot, even to advance to the second round. So these 2 games are the most important games we play in the whole qualifying that we play. I mean, we'll work it and try to beat New Zealand, try to see if we can steal a game maybe here at home against New Zealand and Australia, and then we'll do what we can against, I think we're Syria, Iraq, Iran, and Jordan. Those 4 teams, we'll see what we can do against those guys. But these 2 wins that we have are going to be carried over all the way to the end if we can get those 2 wins. And if not, then that loss is going to be carried over and we won't make it. These 2 games are the most important games we play. And Guam knows that. And Guam knows that they're the most important. They're looking at New Zealand, Australia, and saying, we can't beat them, but maybe we can beat the Philippines.
Thank you very much,
All right. None of these are mine, right?